What is up? What is up? Welcome, everybody, to the Northeast Racing Happy Hour. Andy Crane, Gary Predmore. Partner, I'm coming live on location here at the grill at Turtle Creek. Awesome little golf course here in Plattekill, New York, a great restaurant. And, well, I was hanging out with all my people here at the bar, and, well, I just didn't want to leave. So I just ran next door and grabbed a laptop and figured we'll just do the show right from here.
Well, you live right across the street from there? You're that close?
I do. I live.
Okay.
So believe it or not, I live now at the Turtle Creek Golf Course, which being a golf pro kind of works out really well. And I spend a lot of time over here at the grill, just kind of hanging out. So we were hanging out. We had some friends come over, and they're all waving at me now here in the background, and we're just hanging out here at the grill and ready to talk some racing.
All right, you get the big screen. You get to watch golf and all that stuff there too.
We got a couple big screens. We do. We have golf on one, and we're getting ready for Virginia Tech. I forget who they're playing. Michigan? No, not Michigan State. North Carolina State. So
State,
Jen's daughter goes to Virginia Tech, so I've kind of become a quasi Virginia Tech fan. And
okay.
The girls won the ACC Women's Championship, and the guys are playing tonight. I guess they beat Notre Dame the other day, so they play tonight.
Yep.
So we'll be watching that at 9:30. So we have an absolute hard off at getting so I can just turn and watch the game. I think North Carolina plays tonight too, so that's Taylor's other favorite team. So
Carolina.
a lot going on in the world of motorsports, and more for bad news, I guess, is kind of the lead story. As Chase Elliott breaks his leg going snowboarding, and it brought up kind of the debate of these guys that are at the highest level. Do you let them do other things in season? And it's kind of funny because it brought up something when I was sponsored by Callaway Golf, where I kind of took a hiatus from racing for a while because it was literally written in my contract that I couldn't do anything that could cause me bodily harm. And it was like, i.e. bungee jumping, skydiving, auto racing.
Oh, yeah.
So, you now have one of these prolific drivers as Chase Elliott, who's going to miss, 6-7 weeks now.
Yeah.
All because he went snowboarding and broke his leg. So,
well, he is a professional snowboarder though. So something, I get it. It's snowboarding, but it's not like he's just a run-of-the-mill snowboarder. He knows what he's doing.
I get that. And, Kyle Larson is a professional sprint car driver.
You're right.
Doesn't mean something could go bad. And cause, major issues there. So that's kind of been the debate that I've been, on Twitter, seeing on Twitter and seeing on Facebook of, should these guys be allowed to have a normal life, we'll say, outside of driving their race car?
Yeah, that's a tough deal, but I would say, yeah. Bigger question is, does NASCAR give them a waiver? Considering it didn't happen in the car or at the track or anything like that, do they give him? I know they did with Tony Stewart when he wrecked that salt flat, that car that he was doing. I don't know.
Right, so that's kind of precedent that you're almost going to have to, right? If
Kyle Busch, he broke his leg in the car.
Right, that was Daytona in the Xfinity race, so I kind of understand that one, and that was kind of a situation where the track should have had safer walls and didn't in that particular part of the racetrack. But if I'm racing at Orange County Fair Speedway, or dare I say Bethel Speedway, then I miss a couple races, I don't get those points back. I know it's a different animal now, being the way NASCAR runs their top 3 series with this chase stuff, but it's a situation that I don't know if a waiver should be given just because he goes snowboarding and breaks his leg.
Yeah, but he is the golden child in NASCAR, though.
Well, I liked his tweet that came out that said, how NASCAR scripted that the script was denied or whatever it was. I thought that was
the
kind of
script,
funny.
yeah.
First,
Yep.
I thought I mean I didn't understand it at first. It was kind of cryptic how it came out, but now I kind of get it. And it was kind of funny too. Pretty good IndyCar race. I don't know if you caught that one.
I did not see. I watched the Formula One race. That was.
And Formula One was really good too. The Formula One race, Max Verstappen kind of just smacked him in the Red Bull team. Yeah. And how about Fernando Alonso with a podium?
Yep.
Which is a big deal. Fernando Alonso scheduled to go to the Indy 500 this year as well. Kyle Larson made some news. This was a couple weeks old, but he's going to race the Indy 500 not 1 year but 2 years.
2 years,
which I think is a big deal because it's going to give him an opportunity to get his feet wet, get the experience. And listen, there's a legitimate shot that Kyle Larson could win the Indianapolis 500.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Kyle Busch did it years ago.
Yep.
And finished third, I think. Third or fourth or something like that. So other world of motorsports, the NHRA is going to open up this weekend with the Gator Nationals. They had the Baby Gators this past week. Tony Stewart almost won a Baby Gator. He made it to the final round and got beat. We had a NHRA guest lined up tonight. He was kind of on the fence, and I don't want to throw him under the bus because he was very apologetic about it. He was a top fuel driver that it's actually testing right now as qualifying, will be Friday night. So he just got a hold of me early this morning and said, we're going to make some runs with the car, and he couldn't make it and he would want to do it later in the season. So I don't want to throw him under the bus, but we went to the bullpen, and I think for the local flavor, I don't want to say controversial because I don't think he's very controversial, but he's definitely a lightning rod in the world of street stock racing. And that, of course, is Kyle Welch, who we're going to have on the show. And we're going to talk a little bit about some street stock racing, talk about what racing he's doing this year. And, we're going to talk a little bit about that track up north. That's a little bit of a hot button issue. And we'll talk a little bit about his kid racing now as Colton's kind of coming into the third generation. And listen, full disclosure, when growing up, I went to the Sullivan County Speedway, that when it was called back then, to watch my uncle race what was deemed a modified. It was basically a street stock without fenders on it. And Ronnie Welsh was my favorite driver. I've had so many favorite drivers growing up. Brett Hearns will be my all-time favorite, but like Ronnie Welch was a close second. So to be able to race with Kyle a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit about that too, is pretty cool. So we got blood in the ground, we'll say, at that little track up north. So let's not waste any more time. I know a lot of people are already signed on. Great to see everybody. Thank you guys
already for all signing where up. The cheater is.
That's it. Well, let's bring them on. Let's bring on Kyle Welch to join us here at the happy hour.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Kyle?
What's up?
You're looking at it.
Well, that's a good thing. Skipping work, I heard, to join us tonight. We appreciate it.
For a little bit, I got to get there after I'm done here, but yep.
All right. Well, we'll get right into it.
What the hell are you working at this late at night? What?
6 at night till 4 in the morning.
Oh man, God bless you.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
So, I know a lot of people around already know who you are and what you are, but we get people on that might not know you. Kyle, tell us a little bit how you got started in racing, where you got started. I already mentioned how your dad was a racer. You kind of followed in his footsteps, and kind of take us, where'd you get started and how'd you get going?
So, right around 2000, and obviously my dad raced, and when right around 97, 98, he used to take me to Bethel and to watch, and all of his friends still raced, and he didn't, and he passed away in May of 99. So that was kind of like a kibosh to go into the races. And then, I don't know, I want to say probably 2001, somewhere around there, my grandfather started, if I asked, he would take me, and I would start going a couple times a year. And then I honestly don't think I went from probably, I want to say 05, 06, 07, maybe even 08. I didn't go at all. And then 2009, I got my driver's license or somewhere right in there. And, or my friends did. And we started going to the track every weekend. And And I said to my mom, I said, can I have $300? There's a 4-cylinder here. I went to the auto tech class at Sullivan County BOCES. So, there was a Sunfire there, and I said, can I have $300? I want to build a race car. She didn't even bat an eye. Handed me the cash, and I went and bought it from the teacher, and we built a car at BOCES. And but when I got it finished up, I missed quite a lot of races because I didn't know anything, and I blew up the stock motor and put another stock motor in that seemed to last for a while, and got a little better and a little better, and I seemed to never finish out of the top 5 really that whole first year I started. So, and then the year after that, John Lombardo said you don't need to race with those guys anymore, and gave me a motor to run street stock, and I went to street stock the year after, and that got to be just too much for my britches when I was so young. So I went back down to 4-cylinder, won a championship, 20-some races, and then went back to street stock, and been winning ever since. So, and actually won my first pro stock race at the end of this year. So that was
and not only street stocks, pro stocks, you also had a couple dirt modified starts in there, if I remember correctly.
I did. Yeah, my competition for this year actually let me drive his car once upon a time. So that was pretty cool, though. They let me hop in their car, and it was a blast. It was a lot of fun, but it was a lot different. And I kind of figured it out. I only got to run it 2 or 3 races, and got a couple top 5 finishes. I actually finished second to you one night, and that was pretty cool. I don't think I would. I'd love to do it. I don't see it being reasonable. It's too much money. Those cars are way too much money. So,
tell me about it.
Yeah.
So, what is the plan for this year? What we know, there's some go-karts in the garage and some race cars out in the yard. So, what's Kyle Welch doing this year?
So there actually, we made the basement a party room, and that is now spread completely strung out with go-karts. So Colton's going to race go-karts and going to start out with some practices at Bethel for now. And if he's comfortable enough, then we'll take him to race on Sundays whenever they have the small car Sunday. And, if he gets comfortable and gets a little better, we'll go to Poughkeepsie maybe a couple times, just see how he likes it. And I'll be running whatever limited schedule the pro stocks allow, whatever they're running for that. So that's the plan. And if I'm allowed to get out of the house, maybe take the modified a couple times, but that thing can sit there. That's a lot too. That's a dedication right there.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of work. So we just moved into the new house, so I got a lot to worry about other than race cars. But that's the plan. I'm going to drive my father-in-law's 59 in the pro stocks. It's still going to be a street stock, but we'll bolt some fancy stuff on it and go give him hell over there, I guess.
Now, you still kind of dip your toe into the street stock waters, we'll say, as you signed up to kind of be the, spokesperson, class. I mean, what exactly was it? Kind of the liaison, we'll say. It's something that Bethel tried this year.
So it got a lot of bashing too, with how'd you pick those drivers? How'd you do this? Well, realistically, we all kind of picked each other in a roundabout way. We kind of decided that all of the place needs help. That's no secret. And the guys that have been there for 20, 30, 40 years even, we all even some of us have had issues and didn't go back and haven't raced there, but when it comes down to it, nobody wants to see the place suffer. So we all decided that if we could help, we were going to help. And when it came to rules and things like that, it was just about what issues did we have in the past that we could straighten out so we don't have that problem again. And there's a lot to the situation, but yeah, I mean, there was no we're going to handpick our favorites or anything. It was just who's local, who can be be helpful in getting things back to the it was years ago where there was a packed house every night, and that's basically what we're going for.
And let me ask you this: did you hear from a lot of drivers? Was it because again, it's not really a norm. We'll say that the track did this year, having spokespersons that were handpicked by the racetrack, not by the racers themselves. So, did you have racers reach out to you? Did you get positive feedback from it?
A lot of them I did, and even the ones that I would have liked to hear from a lot more people. We all kind of, even guys from other classes that we weren't representing, they came along, and some of them, we all kind of knew about each class. You know what I mean? Like, if one of us could make a suggestion for another class that we didn't see fit or we didn't think was a good idea, we'd say something, and it would get straightened out. But there's a lot to. I definitely would have liked to hear from a lot more people. The people I did hear from were pretty positive about it, and they can tell you that when they came to me with an issue or one of the other guys with an issue, it got addressed, and if it wasn't totally out of the realm, it got changed. Trying to make changes that the drivers want. We got make the original guys happy. The people who have supported the place for years, and start there, and then move forward. So.
And listen, I know you're not a track official, and I know you're, and I'm not going to bash the racetrack without representation here from the racetrack to kind of defend themselves, because I don't think that's fair at all. You're right. The track needs a lot of help. There's no doubt about it. Do you think it's, well, let me rephrase my question this way. What is it going to take to get, and let's just stick to the street stock class, because that's the class you're kind of quasi representing.
Yeah.
What's it going to take to get the street stock class healthy again? Because listen, there's no denying or hiding. All the class counts are suffering severely up there. And you could say it's because of this, that, or the other, and we're not going to get into that. What's it going to take to get the classes healthy, more particularly the street stocks?
Well, for one, the fact that I sold my white car is going to help for sure, because nobody really liked racing that.
It could help, yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, and off the record, yes, I don't own that car anymore. So you guys don't have to worry about it. You can come race now.
Somebody else does.
Yes.
So.
In due time, that car will be a factor. That is for sure. But there's other people who I'm sure I haven't heard anything about who's definitely coming and who's not, but the ones that I'm not going to name names, but the ones that say they're coming, there really should be a decent field there, opening that. And I'm not saying 20 cars, but there should be a raceable field there the first couple weeks. So,
but there was a time the street stocks were 17, 20 cars. What, where'd they all go?
I can't even answer that, because there was years where Middletown was running with 6 cars, and there was years where Accord couldn't even get enough for heat races, and it just so happens that it floats around. People get tired, and I don't know what the deal is with Middletown. I don't know what the truth is there or whatever, but if that were to close, that's gonna fill back up Bethel and Accord again, and there's a lot of different, obviously the economy doesn't help anything, how much stuff costs. You want to save money and get a crate motor to run pump gas, but now a crate motor is $7,000. So
sure.
what are you really saving?
There's a cheap one's $7,000.
Yeah. Just a run of the mill out of the Speedway catalog is $6,800. Yep. So yeah, I don't know the exact answer. The cost of things definitely plays a part. It's just like with the tire change at Bethel, there were a lot of circumstances where people are complaining about, the cost of the tires and having to switch tires, and we have this and we have that. But realistically, pretty much everybody who complained, including myself, I have to buy tires too. So I think that's a big deal. But at the same time, you were, if they went back to Hoosiers, you were going to buy Hoosiers anyway. So I understand that people have.
Let me
Go ahead.
Let me ask you that. And again, we're sticking kind of particularly to the street stocks.
Yeah.
They made the change to go DOT tires.
Yeah.
Which it gets in line to the rest of the racetracks. Now, listen, all the rules don't line up exactly where one car could go to 3 or 4 different racetracks. But
Right.
you talked about the economy. You talked about it's tough to get to the racetrack. Why would you make a move? And again, I'm not putting this on you. Don't think I'm blaming you or anything for this. I want your opinion on it. Why make a move like that when it's deemed to be detrimental to the class that's already suffering in the first place?
So my thing was everybody is kind of on the same page. Even the ones who won't admit it are kind of, the racing really it wasn't good racing on DOT tires on blacktop. My opinion is, people might disagree, but my opinion is that in 2002, when they went from DOTs to the American Racer back then, and they switched to the race tire. At that point in time, the cars were not nearly. I mean, the old timers will tell you, "Oh, we were just as fast." Not really, and it's not because they weren't good. It's because the technology and the parts that are available now are so much. I mean, you can do a lot more than you could in 2002, and I think that's a big factor. Is the tires just can't handle how fast we're going, and it's like if you can't put a DOT tire on a pro stock. It just won't work. They'll smoke the tires off and they just don't go. And I think especially on blacktop, we're at that point. You can get away with it at Accord and Middletown. I've ran on DOTs there plenty of times and never had an issue. Obviously race tires are, you can go faster, but they're usable there. You don't overwork the tire too bad. But on blacktop, I just didn't see it. I mean, you were totally out of control the whole time. The only way to get the car to really work was tighten it up so much that, put enough wedge in it so it would drive off the corner, but then you had to force it and slide it through, through the center of the turn to get it to rotate. And that's not really, you get an inexperienced driver or something. They don't know how to do that, and they can't, they can't force a car. They don't know what that means. And I just think at Bethel, I think the race tire is the way to go. Me personally, and my argument was you really don't have many cars to lose. So if you're going to change now.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. That's a fair question. I mean,
and you really didn't gain many either.
Right. You're not losing. You're not gaining. So if you're going to switch back, just do it now. That was my.
Now, are the racer tires battle tested, or like is there a jury out on them, that particular kind?
They're supposed to be the equivalent to the Hoosier that we were on. I'm sure there's a difference. I can almost guarantee no tire's the same. But I just don't. I don't know. I don't. There's no proof yet. I mean, we'll find out.
You go by an American Racer modified tire to a Hoosier tire, it's drastically different. That's why I asked that.
Yeah, I think. I do believe they're an American Racer 970, just like it was the Hoosier 970. So it's designed to be the same tire, but there's no way it is.
Yeah.
Just realistically, there's no way it is. It's not going to be the same. It's going to be a little harder, a little softer. It's not going to be the same as a Hoosier. So we'll see. But that's, and availability and different things mattered too in the whole scenario with what tire distributor to go to. And there was a lot to it. So I think the track made a good choice. They pretty much had no choice. That was the way they had to go.
So now that they went with the American Racer, are they involved in like the American Racer Cup? Is there a points? Are they kicking back to the points fund too, or no?
There is something as far as that goes. I'm not at liberty to discuss that or even because I don't know the honest numbers or but I do know there's something involved in the points fund with American Racer. Yeah.
How involved was the spokes? I forget even what the exact word was. The spokesperson, the advocate. Yeah. So how, and I know Skip LaPolt was with the modifieds. I know, I forget who else was. So let's say there was 4 or 5 of you. How involved were you And was it just rules? Was it things that go on the racetrack? Because listen, we could talk about rules all day. There was more that went on there at the Speedway than just rules. So were you involved in opinions of things that went on to the Speedway that we'll just say don't happen at any other Speedway?
It was, I mean, realistically, we all had a group text message that went together, and every time somebody was contacted about a rule, it got sent to the group message, and everybody got to see the modified rules. Everybody saw the street stock rules. Everybody saw the pro stock rules. So it's not like anything was hidden, right? Like, so I didn't make any decisions solely on the street stocks. It was, everybody saw it. So including the management. So there were a lot of things that got shot down that not all of us could agree on, but most things and most changes were inevitable,
And this is going to be my last Bethel question. We're going to move on from this because again, you're a racer there. Trust me, I know I was in the same exact situation where I tried to be a racer there and help the racetrack, and it just doesn't work. So I'm not going to grill you. This is kind of my little bit of payback for my getting grilling for all those years. But let's say you weren't that position. Let's say you were just a racer and I was that position. How would you feel about that?
I can see where it's not a I don't know. I don't even know how to put it. I can see where it's people would be upset about it, but at the same time, if you go back now, if you look at all of us, right, you could say, well, he races the class and he's helping and well, no, I previously raced the class. I currently don't own a car that's legal for street stock anymore.
Many say you didn't in a long time, but that was a joke. That was a joke.
We'll get into that one next. But yeah, I mean, most of the guys, I honestly think it was a fair deal. Me being on the inside, knowing who did it and how things went, there was nothing shady that went on. And if I can be honest with you, if there was, I wouldn't have been involved. Everything went fair, and it was knowledgeable people. People have been around a really long time and knew when things thrived, and I can see how it wouldn't look good, at a certain extent. But
so let me ask you this. I want a real quick follow-up
question too.
If perception didn't look good and the track's perception isn't looking good, period, why do something like that?
Because in the long run, right now, no matter what you do, or at that point in time when this was our idea, it didn't matter what anybody did. It didn't look good, or it wasn't going to be good. So
it's fair enough. So
in the long run, if we can change things and everybody says, oh, well, they did all this, well, actually, that's not so bad. That kind of worked, that would. So yeah, I mean, whether it looked good or not, it was going to happen, and we're trying to change things to make it better for the future. So
my question is, everybody knows, like, everybody follows stuff. Everybody knows issues. Like, do they know they had a problem? That's the $1 million question. Are they willing to be better people? I mean, I like them. I don't have an issue. I'm not bashing them. I'm just talking for the masses. Everybody knows the issues at hand. Do these people that are in charge understand and say, okay, we did have a problem. We're going to be better?
Yeah, I can honestly say that that was brought up in conversation, as far as a whole. There's things that were done by the track that were not favorable and that were detrimental to the Speedway's health, and we kind of everybody's on an agreement that everybody needs to play a part in it, and the things that didn't work don't need to happen anymore.
Right. Okay.
So yeah.
Well, listen, I think for me and Gary, we want the best for the racetrack. There's nothing, there's no good in the racetrack going away. And a lot of people have a lot of blood in the ground there that want to see it succeed, and just how it's been run lately has sucked, and I'll just come out and say it. And hopefully it's going to be better. It's and listen, they can write up my freaking letter right now if they want. It's just facts are facts.
Right.
I hope it's better, and I hope they understand that there's certain things. There's standard operating procedure, and there's a way to do things. And I hope they're starting to understand what the way to do things and what the standard operation is.
Well, that was my point.
And I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah. I think a lot of things were overthought, and that was an issue. You can't reinvent the wheel overnight, and that's what was being done. So, everybody's aware, and I think it's gonna be much better and much more pleasant around the place, and hopefully that's how it works.
Can only go up.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's you know what I mean.
It's to that point. Yeah, it can only get better. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you're a good man to stand there and take the arrows, at least from us. Who listen, I'll say it. I've gotten the wrong end of the stick there a couple times. I don't know about you there, partner, but you did too. So I appreciate that. I do, and I think it's a good thing to get this out in the open. And listen, I'm the idiot with a microphone that'll say it. So I don't care. I'm not going to race there. So
yeah.
So I think it's a good thing. But let's move on from that because listen, this isn't a bring Kyle on and bash him about Bethel that he really doesn't have anything to do with. You have some cool things coming up. Where we'll say the circle of life of racing. Colton's going to start racing a little bit. So as a kart dad now, I mean, now you're working on the car to let your kid drive, to let your kid get involved and give us the feel of that, for you and Mish to have Colton start racing now. We'll talk happier times now.
I'm scared shitless if you want the honest opinion. Hopefully he likes it and he's not too insane and he can kind of not try and not wreck everybody. That'd be good. He's in playing Fortnite right now, so that's not helping very much. But he
does he do a lot working on the go-kart yet?
We got him pretty much torn down, and I'm trying to look into a good place to order some stuff, and I got a lot of suggestions on Facebook when I made a post, and so I'm gonna start looking into stuff. And I have everything. I'm not really rushing because I have a lot of stuff, and pretty much good to go. But I want to learn about them. I don't know anything about the go-kart, so it's totally new for me right now. I just want to get him out there and try not to juice it up too much because he doesn't need that right off the bat.
Learn laps, get laps under his belt.
Correct. So,
yeah, JC Specialties is really good for a lot of stuff. That's
okay.
And they got quick shipping.
Roger said that online too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That
JC,
really good.
Alex from Snydersville does an awesome job. He has a kart shop there. The little one.
Yeah.
So when you said you had other responsibilities, this is one, and we didn't even mention the ring on your finger that was, brand new since the last time we've seen each other in person. So,
yeah, I have to be responsible now, I guess.
Don't you hate when that happens?
It sucks when that happens.
Yeah. He's screaming before. He does not making a sound now. But yeah, no, it's cool. I'm ready to get him out there, and I could care less about myself racing really, but I kind of want to stay involved in it to keep where are you going? He's done. That's it. He's sleeping.
He's going to play Fortnite.
No, but if I were to quit, you lose your mojo, and that's the truth. So I've always been afraid to stop racing because I might suck if I ever wanted to do it again. But I want to stay involved, and he can be involved in my stuff, and he can learn a lot about racing, and if he likes it, he likes it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I'm not going to make him do it. So that's the biggest thing is to
it's a different world. That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah, he's he's got other stuff going on. He's got sports, and so whatever he wants to do, he says he wants to do it, and we're gonna try it out. That's all I can say.
That's it.
Well, like
Yeah.
I said, it's just like the circle of life. How many hell, I could think a dozen off the top of my head that we've raced with that now have kids racing that they're stepping back and kind of letting the kids go and do their thing, which which was something. And listen, I'm going to absolutely freaking take credit for Small Car Sunday because that was freaking my idea. I don't care what anybody says. To see these new people come up and start and have an opportunity to. And they grow into the next Kyle Welch. They grow into the next Chris Schultz. They grow into the next, this guy, that guy. Yeah, exactly. I agree. So it's awesome. They grow into the next Charlie Hoteling, which I see is online. Him and Easton doing a great job in the Bandoleros, and his brother as well. So
Absolutely.
it's a cool thing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's cool. Really.
I just wish there was more carts out there. People that that ran them. It's tough.
Yeah. He's being loud now. But yeah, no, there's it'd be cool to have a bigger turnout on a Sunday for Small Car Sunday. For me, taking him out there, I'm kind of glad there's not that many because he played a lot of NASCAR games on PlayStation, so he probably better off there's no cars around him.
Yep.
Yeah, his mother just said, speaking of anxiety.
Well, that's pretty cool, and we're definitely going to look forward to that. And Kyle, I want to close up with you on this.
Hold on. Since your kid is going to be racing at Bethel, and you are a liaison, maybe they can get hay bales around the walls.
They're going to need more than that.
That's one thing that scared the hell out of me with the kids racing there is them guardrails are dangerous.
Yeah, they can be. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. We'll have to go that route when we get there. But yeah, I mean, I don't expect it. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to make the thing so it can't hit the wall. It won't go fast. It won't go fast enough. It won't go fast to hit the wall.
And listen, that's the way to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he's gonna have the smallest of restrictor plates. Right?
Yeah, he'll have that thing's not gonna, trust me, it's not gonna go fast. Until he
listen, like Ed Dockenhausen told me once, just sneak up on it. Just slowly sneak up on it, and before you know it, you're going fast. So that's definitely the way to do it. Well, looking online, we got a lot of street stock guys online, and being that you're out of the class right now, let's get your opinion on the health of the street stock class overall in general. And we'll throw Bethel and Accord and Orange County, Lebanon Valley, all the tracks in the area. It's been kind of a roller coaster. What can be done to build the health of a street stock class in your opinion?
What's going to end up happening, regardless if anybody wants it to or not, or the tech officials think we should have 1948 Chevy engines in the cars, or whatever the case is, right? It's going in a direction where there's no choice, but realistically, we're going to end up with 4412s and crate motors, and that's kind of, in my opinion, what it's going to end up as. I like open motors myself. I don't see a problem with it, but
I mean, you're almost the price of a crate motor. You're almost more beneficial to have an open motor, no?
That's what an open motor was.
With a crate motor costing $7,000, I can tell you right now, not one of my engines has ever came close to that kind of money.
That's what I'm saying. It's cheaper to have an open motor at this point.
If you ask the guys I race with, there's $40,000 in my motor, but truthfully, I've never spent more than $4,000 on an engine in my life, and that was most of the time. It's not even spending that. It's just, recycling parts, and, one motor goes to the next and you get a bunch of parts and pieces. But my original motor, I don't even know how many years ago, was like $4,200, and that was brand new oil pan to intake. So, I don't know. I truthfully don't know which direction it's really going. there's so many different things that play into it with different rules at different tracks, and I honestly think it's going to more. It's leaning more like a pro stock at this point.
Like,
it's gonna
do
have.
you see
It's gonna
like
have to.
street stocks in the future being more like what's running down in Bridgeport, like that $10,000 to win race kind of thing, where it looked like late models showed up?
Yeah. I don't think it needs to get to that extent, but pure stocks can be a little more than what they are, right? Like exhaust manifolds are readily available. You can get them offline for 100, 150, $200 at the most. They're available, so there's no reason we can't use those because they're the same price or cheaper than headers. But things like the carburetors need to just accept the fact that we need to run a 4412.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, it was a step in the right direction when they allowed the 500 Rochester because
They're
at least you can
available.
Yeah, you can buy them. So,
but here's my dilemma: is trying to find a 350 carburetor now. I got the 500.
Yeah.
Now trying to find a 350 to be able to run Orange County.
It's almost impossible.
It is. It's hard. Yeah, unless you go to somebody that's been around a long time that's got them stockpiled on their shelves, but they don't like to deal with them. They don't like the part.
I'll try to build it myself first.
Yeah.
I mean, it's to the point where if you're going to call somebody like that really knows what they're doing, like CNS Specialties or a bunch of I'd call out west to have these carburetors built, the 350 CFM, you're spending $1,000.
Right. Oh yeah.
And you're going to run it that year, and then the next year when you go to use it, there's going to be something wrong with it. It's going to need a rebuild, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can't do it. So then you're spending another $1,000 because you need another carburetor because that one don't work, and it's like a never-ending process. When if you just bought a 4412,
right,
chances are they're pretty foolproof.
So I guess that's like a plug if anybody's listening. if you got a 350 laying around, hit me up. I need one.
Yes, Gary needs one.
I got a couple, but you can't have those.
Well, they're probably like 750. So
whatever, give it. You're not the first guy that accused me of that.
It's all good.
It probably won't be the last either.
No. You're taking that shit to the grave, would you? So
it's not what the carburetors are. It's what you put through them, and that's good advice. If anybody can take that one and run with it, that's as far as I'm going. Though I ain't saying no more.
Well, Kyle, we appreciate you jumping on last minute. We appreciate you taking all the crap that we dished out to you, and probably what you're going to see online here when you're done too. So,
yeah.
Thank you. Best of luck. We wish Colton the best of luck. We saw him kind of peeking over your shoulder there for a little bit.
Yeah, he went back to Fortnite.
That's listen. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
We'll see you at the racetrack, and best of luck, and we'll keep track of you.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, Kyle Welch, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be a busy guy with a couple kids now, a couple go-karts, a couple race cars, a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah. Good
and
luck.
listen, I appreciate he answered. Listen, we could have been assholes and we could have really turned the screws on him. But again, I was almost in quasi the same situation. You can't answer for people that aren't here,
Right.
So is what it is. And bashing a racetrack doesn't do anything. But I think points have been made, and I'm hoping, because I know, listen, there's people involved with the racetrack right now that are listening. I hope we're hearing, they're hearing that improvements need to be made.
Well, that's why I asked them if they get, you know what I mean? If they understand. One can only hope.
Listen, I think Kyle said it best. It can't get any worse.
That's right.
It really can't, right?
Nope,
so
that's just it. It can only go up.
And listen, if management wants to come on one week, I would absolutely welcome it, and we'd have a very professional conversation. I think everybody wants to see that racetrack succeed. Nobody wants to see it go away. It's not going to succeed if it continues the same way it's been going, plain and simple. And when you see a lot of good people leave there, either by choice or being said by choice, when it really wasn't, there's a problem. And hopefully that type of problem is going to be fixed. Roger, I saw your text out there. I completely disagree. You can absolutely race at the same racetrack you're involved with if done right. And there are plenty of examples out there. Stafford Motor Speedway being one of them. Pete Bicknell up at Ransomville. What's his track up there? Cornwall is another one. There are plenty of examples that if it's run right and it's run correctly, it can be done. And I'm gonna disagree with you on there. And that's it. And that's kind of that's all I'm gonna really get into it, because again, there's nobody here to defend themselves, and I think it would be fair. I just think things have to be better. There were things that happened there that shouldn't have happened, and I'll leave it at that.
Right. Nope.
But listen, I hope opening night comes and they got a pit area full of race cars and they have it all season long. I truly, honestly do.
I said it can only go up. People, and it may take a little bit. Well, it's going to take a few weeks maybe, and people start seeing that the change is there, and people will show up.
I think they were going in the right direction with some things. I like the fact that they run kind of a part-time schedule for most of the classes. I don't know if NASCAR is the best fit there. I understand why. I think it can be a really good fit, but now I don't think it's worth a damn now that Brett Deo is involved running with his tracks, because there's besides the purse, which is what it is, it could be better, could be worse. You're not going to sniff any of the regional money. You're not going to sniff any, because you just don't have the car count.
Right, yeah.
You could compete kind of with Riverhead to sneak into the top 10 regionally, but now you're not. So I really don't. And it's not like they knew Brett Deo was going to jump NASCAR with his two tracks. So.
Right, and that's kind of why I asked about the American Racer money. If they're going to kick in, help out with points and stuff involved in the American, you know what I mean? Just different things.
Yep.
Any little bit helps.
Listen, I agree. I think the changing of the tires for the BMS modifieds and the Pro Stocks and a couple other classes. I mean, that's a dime a dozen. You're buying race tires anyway. I think it was a dumb move to change it from the street stocks. That's just my personal opinion. If you do something to deter, and listen, Kyle made a great point. You really didn't add anybody, but I think you didn't add anybody for other reasons. It wasn't because of tires.
Right.
Now you're definitely not going to add anybody. Just now it's my opinion, and it's just my opinion. You go to a tire that is run absolutely nowhere around here. Not that a 970 was run anywhere, but you had an opportunity with one class to try to pull cars from a couple different places, and now you kind of just alienated yourself. Again, my opinion. And we'll see. Listen, I would be more than happy to see, and they don't need a huge field. If you get 8 to 12 cars at Bethel for street stocks, they'll put out a good race. There were races I was in the modified that, we had 8, 9, 10 cars. It was a great race. We had 17 for that 169 lapper at the end of the race. That was a lot of fun. Right. If you could get that every week, holy cow, it would be awesome.
I still say he needs to talk to his NASCAR friends and get some kind of shit they put on the track. Get that top lane coming in.
The top lane could work if you get your car to work right. There's enough banking up there. You can get your car to work. There's no doubt about it.
A very, very select few. Kyle obviously was one of them. But
listen,
man, I don't know. I would love to see that place have multiple top lanes.
You know how you could really get multiple top lanes?
He says top lane works, period. I've been there many a nights. I have not seen, not everybody can run that top lane.
You know how you really get the top lane to work? Put 20 cars on the racetrack.
Then you got no choice. Yeah.
That's how you're going to get the top lane to work. Because if you got to go buy a guy, go buy him on the outside. Again, if there's only 4 cars out there, it's not going to work. The bottom's the preferred lane. And that's the same with all pavement tracks. It's, just the way of the beast. Look at Riverhead. You're not going to pass anybody on the outside at Riverhead. And then Riverhead's a great pavement track. Listen, you're really not going to pass anybody on the outside at Stafford. I tried. I tested out their safer barrier. It works.
But I mean, even when you watch Stafford, there's that middle lane. There is 2 lanes. There can be 2 lanes at Stafford.
There is, but they're side by side, 15 deep. Everything's drawn on race cars. And I'll bring it up because he doesn't race there anymore. And listen, there's a reason he doesn't race there anymore, and that kind of goes back to another thing that we were talking about. But Jamie Iannone, if you put 17 cars on a racetrack and started Jamie last, he's not going to win every week. To his own admission, he's not going to win every week. But if you put 4 cars out there, Jamie had a great race car. Listen, I found out later what he was doing to his race car, and it wasn't cheating. It was definitely gray areas of the rules that, listen, we started doing and got better. But if you're going to make him on that tiny of a racetrack come through 10, 15 cars, he's not going to win every week. Yeah. If you make him only have to pass 3 cars, you're going to get a guy that wins every week.
You're right.
Same with Kyle.
Yeah.
I'll say it's not hard for Kyle Welch to pass 5, 6 race cars. It might be harder for him to pass 12, 13, 14 race cars. I mean, he might still do it, but it would at least be harder.
It's got harder.
At least be fun to watch.
Yeah. Skip says they used to run 3 wide in the old street stock.
On DOT tires, right? Just want to throw that one out there. Technology is a little different. Listen, Bob Slate said suspension. The suspension's different in a street stock. It's not the stuff you get out of the junkyard anymore.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely suspension. That even in modified, shocks and springs and all that. That's the most important thing now.
Right.
Absolutely.
You have to make it affordable to go racing. Bethel is a very affordable racetrack to go race at, as long as you allow it to be an affordable racetrack to go race at. And I fear it's kind of going the other way, but we'll see.
It's good, like the maintenance there. That's the number one thing.
Bethel can be a very good racetrack, and I hope it goes in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's, I think you really, and I'll say you got to start from the top down and make improvement. I'm not saying change. I'm not saying fire anybody. I'm not telling anybody that they have to leave, but you have to change. Because what's the definition of insanity? Keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think it's, I saw today, 33 days till Middletown opens up or something like that. We're almost under a month to where we'll have racing up here. I know Hagerstown is getting ready. They were supposed to do World of Outlaws at Selinsgrove, but Mother Nature kind of snowed that one out.
Yeah, they're supposed to have supposed to be racing there at the Short Track Super Series. It's supposed to be Saturday, but I don't know.
Right. Yep. I mean that far down in Maryland, maybe they sneak it in, but who knows?
Yeah, man.
But we'll definitely 38 days. That's right, Walt, because I saw LeBaw's picture. That was it.
38.
So it's coming. It's coming. It's going to be here before we know it. So we'll have plenty to talk about, partner. That's for sure.
I saw Bobby Slate. If he's still watching, I'll be in contact trying to get one of those if he's got a carburetor laying around.
That'd be awesome. Or we'll
steal
Kyle's cheating one. Not cheating one. I didn't say that out loud. At least for the 4 races I'm driving.
To borrow it, yeah, right.
There we go.
Right.
That'd be fun.
We'll
All right,
we'll
partner.
figure
Well,
it out.
I'm going to wrap things up here at the grill. I'm going to mosey my way back over to the bar.
Good place to be.
And that's,
I don't know about on a Wednesday night, but
well, listen, for soda. I got to watch.
Oh,
Listen, I got to watch Virginia Tech. I don't know if they're playing or they play later. I don't know who's playing right now. We got a game up. I think North Carolina's playing
North
right now.
Carolina's playing right now. Yeah.
So I'm going to have to check that out and then watch Virginia Tech later. So go Hokies.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, partner.
bud. I'll
We'll
see
talk to you next week.
Next week.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
All right.